internet! Hello, Sam, and welcome back to After Campfire, Old Man Edition. Just kidding, I'm not old, but I am older. I am now 30, which is that weird milestone that you're just like, wow, cool, you're old, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know how to think about it. I definitely had a lot of anxiety the past few months going into this point in my life, like looking at certain friends and being like, wow, they look like they've accomplished things that I will never do. Just kidding. Or they look like they're so far ahead of me or something. But that's just cherry picking the best of individual people's lives, and lives are more complex than that. And now that I am 30, it's like, yeah, it's just another day. It's just, I am very prone to being a very anxious person. And alas, I'm okay. So yes, it is April 2nd. I've now been 3-0 for 3 days. And I'm making my video now because I have been kind of busy. On Friday, I still went to work, even though I didn't do too much, whatever. And then I had a birthday party. Woo! I had a bunch of people. We rented a room at the game store that I always go to, and we played games like these, except not like these, because all the games that I brought are in a backpack on the floor, which I need to reassemble into this. But that takes effort, and effort's hard. And then yesterday, I did some errands in the morning, and then Calvin came over, and he came for the afternoon, stayed for my Commander Magic Night, which proceeded until the late hours, and I went to bed. And now it's today, where, I mean, it doesn't really matter if I do it in the morning or the evening, I'm doing it now. I did some shopping today because this week I'm going to Hawaii, which is the first, normal vacation I've been on, since the pandemic. To be fair, I've never really been on much, that might not be true. I think I might have gone snowboarding with my mom and sister in, Mammoth, but, a quick little, 2-3 day thing. But this is, my first just normal vacation, don't think about anything, let's go. Also the first one with my dad, in very, very long time. I don't think we had gone on a trip together since I was in high school, maybe. And my brother, which will be the first time ever, and hopefully that goes well. Yeah. So, 30. I'm doing okay, I think. Henry's Diary of How to Adult work is going okay. But I'm going to talk about that and Trip and more in Sam's question to me. But first, my question to Sam, which was funny. And I like how we both had a very similar, but Sam even more negative response to our 2 questions about the reunion. Because I'm like, it's gonna be a mess. Let's go. And Sam's like, it's gonna be a mess. No! Which makes sense. Because Sam's gonna get roped into doing things, so him not going is totally reasonable if that's what he wants to do. And like he said, who knows what it'll look like and what's gonna cost, because the amount of money people are willing to spend is low for how much I've seen. Or, well, I don't know. It depends. But like Sam said, there's people like Sam who I see when I go visit. Every time I visit, I stay with Sam pretty much, unless Sam is at camp, and then I usually stay in his room at camp, but he's not doing that anymore. I don't know. But my question was more just, who do you want to see? Who we wouldn't normally. So, the best answer is Nikki, because Nikki messaged all of us and was like, hey, it's been so long. We should go do this. This sounds like fun. I feel so weird about my really old camp friends. Nikki's kind of, on the edge because she, was a staff member, once. Sydney D was like that until she came back in 2020 with us. Where, she was my friend, my younger friend, my friend from camper days. I mean, Sydney and Holly and, even, that age was kind of different because it was when they were kids and I was staff. But, the friends that I made from when I was, actually, a kid, still a camper, except for Jonathan Schneider and people like you, Sam, or Jason, who I still talk to. Jonathan Schneider's like the only one who never was a staff member that I still am in contact with. I don't talk to him often, but I also just, I don't know. It's hard to keep in contact with people you haven't talked to in years. And it's just interesting. Like, I had a whole group of friends that from like camp back in the day that I was so close with that I just totally lost contact with. There is Matt Small who lives in Seattle, but I kind of think that we're not really in a vacuum, just like seeing each other in the real world. I don't really feel like we mesh anymore. But like if he was at camp, that'd be different. But like Mark Coe and Jacob Breslin, like these are like some of my best friends at camp from when I was a kid. Like it'd be so cool to see them. Or like the old era camp and circus crew, because there was like circus from when I was a kid, and then when I was a young staff member, and when I was an old staff member. So I'll say young staff member is like the Hannah and Clint era, like Sophia Coe and Sam Lessa and Sammy Druckman and Josh and Greg, though I never worked with them, but so that's older. I mean, like, it would be so interesting to see them. Like, I've seen Dana a few times, she'd visit, but those are the people that I'm most interested in seeing. So, like, Nikki and our old group, that'd be so much fun, even though that group has become very weird. Like, Sid is like the only one I actively keep in contact with. I used to be way closer to Nikki also, but that kind of like just kind of devolved. I think kind of around the time Jason left New York, like for college and stuff. Because I used to go visit Jason and then see Nikki while I was there. And now because Nikki moved away from New York and was far, just stopped seeing her as much. But yeah, aside from Sid and Nikki, I'm pretty sure that group's collapsed. So I don't think we're gonna see Steph and Rachel and Jenny and others. That'd be odd. Jared Aronoff, we should see him. It's been too long. I don't know. It'd be interesting. So those are my answers. But Sam asked me a billion questions about what have I learned, like, in my 30 years, like, how do I feel about it, all sorts of stuff. So, like, I feel like there's just a few general takeaways that I should talk about. Now that I am a proper certified adult. It's kind of weird, when, like, one of the first thing that Sam mentioned is, like, how have you changed? And I feel like one of my lessons from being 30 is that people just really don't change very much. Like, we just become better versions of ourselves. Like, you also talked about giving lessons from throughout our life. So, like, one of the big one in my late teens, and then, like, I guess the beginning of my 20s was kind of just learning how to understand my emotions, and that emotions were good. Like, I was an awkward social outcast when I was a teenager because I got bullied and I was shy, and then I just wallowed away and watched anime for 10 hours a day or something ridiculous. Like, and then, like, I started getting a group of friends. I had my first girlfriend. Like, I just remember there was a lot of drama when I dated my first girlfriend, and I remember crying now and then. And I also remember feeling like, wow, emotions. Those things I, like, was so proud to not, like, I was so proud that I didn't cry when I was growing up. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is amazing. This is, like, life. So, like, that was, like, my big late teenage lesson. And I'm not going to go younger because who cares about, like, when you're a kid, you're just learning how to literally be a human. Then when you are older, you're learning how to be a good person. Like, human as in, like, how to eat, how to tie your shoes, how to literally run. Like, I have seen children who cannot run, and it is always a very curious thing to me. We saw a lot of weird things while working at camp. So, that's, like, I feel like the bigger lessons from that is, like, just learning to understand that those kinds of things are okay. And then just kind of learning how to be you and accept who you are. Because, again, for the most part, people don't change a lot. We learn how to not have our most deep faults. Like, I do think, like, so at the same time, when I was, like, a teenager in early 20s, my my egotism was at the max, because the way that I dealt with being an outcast nerd in high school was by being like, haha, but it's okay because I'm smarter than everyone. That's a terrible outlook of life. And it makes you a bad person. And I am glad, I think, I'm not remotely like that anymore. Another thing, and this is like my late 20s one, I guess, which I'm still working on, but I'm trying, which is just kind of being, well, like I was kind of just saying, being comfortable in your own skin and being good with who you are and where you are. So like I'm at that weird age where a lot of your friends are in very different stages of your life. Some people I know, when some of my best friends have never had a relationship in their entire life, and some people are married and having kids. As someone in the middle of that spectrum, it feels weird. But like, it's something important to remember that that's normal. Like I said, like on that spectrum, it's wide, and especially with age, it's different. And like, also, for example, like all of my friends in Seattle, most of them are older than me. Like some of them are in their mid-30s. Some of them are going to be in their 40s soon, and like that's fine. That's all good. And like the thing that I've really wanted to focus on recently, because I suffer from like anxiety and whatever, is like kind of putting into balance like the positives in my life. Because like it's sometimes hard when certain things are eating at you to remember like things are good. Like I have a good job. I have a lot of friends in Seattle. Like I had a birthday party thing yesterday that for a 10-person room that I rented out, and I accidentally had 11 people show up. Whoops. I guess I invited 12, including myself, because I forgot to count myself. So then I invited 10, and I guess I forgot that I invited one, or like a friend invited our other friend, not knowing I didn't count him or something. Whoops. I'm glad he was there, but whoops. And one of my other friends was like, oh yeah, like I was jokingly being like, oh, we could have rented out both rooms here. And he's like, do you have enough people to invite? I'm like, I actually do. Like I could have invited 20 people to a birthday party and they would have shown up. And like, as an adult, I don't think a lot of people get to say that anymore. And I'm very glad for it. And like one of the things that I sometimes get a lot of crap over is like my addiction to card games. Speaking of which, I don't think I mentioned this in this last episode. There's a One Piece card game out now. I spent a lot of money on this game. They didn't print enough, so the cards right now are really hard to get. They're about to do reprints, so the prices are already going down, which is great. But like right now, my phone is on top of my like not 20, but like I have like 10 decks now, and I'm like, oh, this is so much fun. And like my sister and others have like talked about how they're jealous that I have these hobbies because it makes it so that it's easier for me to meet people. And it's true. I've made friends in Seattle, through flying trapeze, through magic, or just I was able to lock on to friends because I'm like, hey, I'm a gamer, want a game? In a sense of like Justin Adams, like my first like really good friend in Seattle. Like I'm like, hey, want to play D&D? And he's like, no, let's play this other game. And because we already knew each other, he's like, you'll play role-playing games. That's how I made my friends. Or also, but yeah, like I have a good community. I have a good job and at the moment, even if it stresses me out sometimes, that's just life and me. I have a house. That's cool. And yeah, that's one of the ones that is uncommon among my friends, even though I guess I have a lot of techie friends who do, but whatever, it doesn't matter. It's really important to keep that in mind. Because, like I said, people don't change that much in a sense, but if you want to change, and this is the thing that I'm trying to focus on very hard, you need to put in a lot of effort. Things like, I don't remember what it says, the things are, but like if you need to change a habit, it takes like 60 days of doing it every single day or something like that. That's not easy. And those are the kinds of things that I'm really trying to focus on now. So yeah, where where does it leave us? When you grow up, no one is perfect. You need to learn to understand who you are and how to be a good person while still being who you are. Everyone has flaws. Try to improve them if you can. And if you can't change certain aspects of yourself, try to learn how to handle them better, I guess. I don't know. I like how the night before I turned 18, I was playing Super Smash Brothers, and the night before I turned 30, I was playing Super Smash Brothers. Not a lot changes. We'll see what happens when I'm turning 40. But Sam, I feel like you've gone through some substantial changes in your life the past 2 years or so. Like especially like now you've been with Sydney for like a year, and like I've been living with her for months. Like those are some major changes. Like I know, I think I've talked to you and Alicia about this. Like there's a lot of anxiety around sharing space. And as I was talking about with sorry that this episode is so long, how it takes a long while to change. What do you think is something that you like have recently? What are you proud of something you've changed about yourself, about like your, like if you've been eating better, exercising more, and like what do you feel like you've like accomplished and or should keep working towards? I don't know. Tell me. Looking forward to meeting you as a 30-year-old too in 9 months. Bye. Or less, actually. Whatever. Math is hard. Bye.